Danny DeVito shine. Walk outside. Go down the stairs, and then you'll see it. So I go to the Danny DeVito shine. I open the doors. It's freezing. All my friends are looking at me like, what are we doing? And I'm like, guys, like, just trust me. We walk down, and you hear some people talking, and there's this alleyway which has a vent that's venting chlorine essentially into all these people, which are all hanging out, right? And then we see people sitting there, and they're literally doing this Beyblade tournament in the middle of this like party hangout with like chlorine. Yeah, it was like the best time ever, really. It's called MAGfest.
Stands for Music and Games, Music and Gaming Fest. It's been going on for a while. It's really fun. So if you're into video games, they have like the biggest game room I've ever seen. It's like
describe that.
Yeah, essentially, it's like at this place called the Gaylord Convention Center. I think it's called.
We're off to a great start.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Gaylord Convention Center. Oh my God, you guys are so funny. So it's in DC. It's essentially like it's two parts. The first is like this gigantic indoor atrium that has hundreds of hotel rooms facing into the atrium. So when you're in this big area that has bars and restaurants and stuff like that, you're seeing all these hotel rooms of people partying and stuff like that. And then not only that, there's like parties all over. You know, like it's open drinking and everyone's just having a good time, you know, and like everyone's in costumes and stuff. And the gaming part that you were talking about was, imagine like the biggest room that you've ever been in, okay? Like the biggest indoor room. Like I know if you guys have ever been to any kind of convention.
Discovery Zone.
Yeah, those big halls. It's like 9 of them in a row.
Wow.
So it literally takes like a whole 5 or 6 entire minutes to walk from like one end to the other. And they have like everything you could think of. It's like old arcade games, new arcade games, exotic arcade games.
Consoles and PCs.
Yeah. Consoles, PCs, tournaments, rhythm games. And it's open 24 hours, but this time it wasn't, but normally it is, but it's closed for a couple hours. However, it's just like, it was so much fun, you know, and also they have music. I caught some really awesome bands and acts I've never heard of before.
Yeah, we went to the Rave and got to see a lot of really cool performers there too. So.
Yeah, it was my first time, but haven't you been there before, Kai?
Yeah, I've been there like 3 times. Shout out in the chat if you were at MAGfest with us, because
shout out to the Maggies.
Yeah, we probably partied with a few of you. But yeah, the Rave, I was kind of afraid that the Rave was going to be hit or miss, because sometimes it is, but I think the headliners were really good.
Did you pop one of those Baby Yoda
There were so many.
No.
What was some of your favorite music that you saw?
The VGR group, which I found out stands for Video Game Remix. I really liked them a lot. They came on after you guys had left because of the first performance, and it wasn't. I won't say anything. It was
yeah, we didn't like one of the bands or performances, so we went and just started drinking more. But Kai stayed and checked out this awesome person.
Oh yeah, and we just absolutely.
Was it a band or was it like a person?
It's a group. It was like 3 or 4 people, I think, but they did such an amazing job. It was really good. And then I know you said you saw like a chiptune.
Yeah, so there was like this Chiptune Rave, and you know that type of music. Like I always liked video game music and stuff like that, but I never heard like. You know, it's like a combination of like really modern electronic elements with, you know, the guy literally had like 2 Game Boys on stage, cool. With a mixer channeling. I think his name was called.
I didn't see it, so I didn't get to see the Game Boy thing.
Let me look it up. And what's awesome about it, hold on, this guy, he was playing like at 3 a.m, and I was standing there just like in awe. His name was called Defense Mechanism. And he just dropped an album like yesterday. And it's awesome. I mean, you guys should check him out. It's called Defense Mechanism. And it was like super grimy drum and bass with like really soaring, inspiring, video game sounding
8-bit kind of stuff.
Yeah, 8-bit kind of tunes. It was awesome, really. It was like, it felt like, I don't want to say I was in a video game because it was so cheesy, but it really felt like I was in this alternative 80s vibe, and I really liked it. I was really, you know, there aren't that many artists that when I listen to it, I'm like, you know, like I'm gonna listen to them like on the way home. You know what I mean? But it was awesome. I really enjoyed it.
You guys should go live from MAGfest next year.
We actually were talking about
we're definitely gonna do
coming and us doing it.
We should do that. Do a show at MAGfest.
Yeah. If you guys want us to go to MAGfest, let us know, because we really would love to do a live show there. It'd be cool.
And they have a live jam area from what you guys were telling me about.
2 of them. So we had the Jam Clinic, which is where they kind of guided a little bit. It was a lot of sheet music readers and stuff there, but there's also a few people like us who can just kind of like do it by ear. But Mike, every single day, he was like waking up and he was like, we got to go into the jam room. And he would walk in with his drumsticks in hand and he would hear somebody else on the drums and he would just stop whatever he was doing and he would just change directions and run to that space.
Yeah.
And then he would just sit there and wait for the person to get off the drums and then get on there and just absolutely slay it.
Thank you. And like, it was so funny because we were kind of walking by and everyone was like, oh, we need to go do this and do that first. And I literally just sped walk away from the group right towards the music. So I'm like, I know what I'm here to do, baby.
Right.
Let's get it.
And Elijah from Paper Aliens played with us there. It was a time, and it was funny because at first they were kind of like, "Who's this guy?" And then as soon as Mike played like one set, they're like, "You can just stay. You can just."
Yeah, it was really
Nice.
nice. Actually, there's a gentleman that was helping to run it, which knew who I was. I forgot his name at the moment.
Mark.
Sorry.
It's
Mark.
Mark. Yeah, shout out to Mark.
Yeah,
out there.
very, very, very nice guy who
Yeah.
let me pretty much do whatever I wanted.
Mike
which
was
great.
VIP at the drum throne.
You know, I was the head of the drum circle, the circular of the circle. It was actually really nice, and people were so friendly and playing really well, and it was a great time. But really, it was like I've been to so many parties in my life, and I've thrown so many parties, and I've played at so many parties, and MAGfest was one of the best parties I've ever been to in my whole life. And the reason why, like, people have been telling me to go like all the time for many, many years. I think it's been doing it for like 20 years or at least 15 or something like that. And the reason why I never been to it is because I guess usually it's like the week after New Year's. And usually, like, I'm going to see, like, Fish or, like, the Disco Biscuits or Humphreys McGee or some random jam band playing in some random city 4 or 5 hours away from me. And so when I'm doing that for 3 or 4 nights, like, I don't really want to do anything the weekend after. However, I will say that I had such a good time at MAGfest that I'm going to give up all my New Year's plans every year just so I can go to that place.
You heard it here first, folks. Mike's never going to Fish New Year's ever again.
Yeah, I mean, you know, being in New York on New Year's Eve is unpleasant. Let's say that. It's
if
pretty
you just
unpleasant.
pretend like you're anywhere else, it's great, you know?
It feels like you're in an ant hill and you're like a little ant and all the ants are like crawling all over you to get to the queen. And by the queen, it's like the bars.
And or like a hot dog stand.
Like the halal stand.
Halal stand.
Yeah, they're trying to go get some Greek gyros.
Happy New Year!
Dude,
They
like, imagine,
they
like-
throw shawarma in your face.
No, really,
Oh my
imagine
God.
like celebrating
Happy New Year's.
while being handed a hot dog. You know, they're like, Happy New Year's in the back, and you're just kind of like, just keep giving it to me, dude. Like, we're not, this isn't.
It's so happy.
Yeah.
It's such a happy New Year.
But it was really a fun time, and I feel like you know, all the promoters and all the people throwing it did a great job. It seemed to go off without a hitch, and the venue was gorgeous and decadent yet debaucherous. I'd highly recommend. Really, it was. It really was.
Yeah.
It was like,
Decadent yet
like
debaucherous.
everybody was ready to party. Like
Yeah.
everybody.
We found
you know?
we found that underground Beyblade tournament.
Oh, yeah.
in the middle of
So-
this alleyway at 4 a.m.
Explain
Yeah.
what Beyblade is.
So
for the-
Beyblade is, if you guys don't know, it's like an I don't know if it was ever an anime thing, but it was like a toy.
I think they made it into an anime.
Yeah, it's a plastic tub, and then you like spin these like bladed things, and they like
Bladed piece of plastic.
yeah. And so
They hit each
You
other.
have to let it rip. You have to
Yeah.
let it rip, right?
Like 4 a.m., we're trying to figure out what to do because it's all pretty much shutting down, and we're all still pretty lit. And so we go behind the pool outside. We hear this like crowd, and there's this like girl just sitting there, and I'm like, oh, what is this girl doing? And I hear her scream and like let it rip. And I go in there, and there's like 50 people in this alleyway,
Yeah.
and they're betting money. And I'm like, dude, it's
On
4 a.m.
Beyblades.
On Beyblades. And then there were people like smoking in the back. So I was just like, dude, this is crazy.
I want to go to MAGfest, but I want to dress up like Ogre from Revenge of the Nerds.
There you go.
You ever seen that?
Yeah.
And just walk around and yell,
Screaming it.
Nerds! Like in every room.
What you got?
Nerds!
I just want to kind of give, because like this situation that Kai's talking about, it's like you have
The
to really
situation.
no, you have to really understand. It's like literally 5 a.m, okay? And I'm texting my friend Joey, who's been to MAGfest like 12 times. So I'm like, bro, where's the party at? Like, I'm ready to go, you know? And he says, I want you to listen to me. So go to the Danny DeVito shrine, which is a shrine devoted
Yeah,
to
there
Danny
was one.
DeVito, and walk outside. And I'm like, dude, it's like minus 30 degrees outside. I'm not doing that. He's like, listen to me. Go to the Danny DeVito shrine. Walk outside. Go down the stairs, and then you'll see it. So I go to the Danny DeVito shrine. I open the doors. It's freezing. All my friends are looking at me like, what are we doing? And I'm like, guys, like, just trust me. We walk down, and you hear some people talking, and there's this alleyway which has a vent that's venting chlorine essentially into all these people, which are all hanging
poisoning
out,
them.
right? And then we see people sitting there, and they're literally doing this Beyblade tournament in the middle of this like party hangout with like chlorine. And like I was wondering the whole time, because the thing is, like, I don't think it's bad for you to have chlorine blasting in your face, because if it would be, then like Michael Phelps would like literally be a rock right now. You know what I'm trying to say? So like, I just don't think it's that bad.
No,
for you.
it can't be bad. It's only like green gas.
Chlorine
It
gas.
was like
chlorine gas is used in like biological work.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
definitely
Chemical
bad
warfare.
for you.
Have you ever played GoldenEye 64 and
Yeah,
you're
of
in that
course.
one level where like it starts to fill up with green gas because you blew up the tanks and then
Oh yeah,
it was like that.
because you got double crossed.
But it was,
Yeah.
it's the only place you could find warmth, so people were like, "Hey, we'll take it."
I'm really interested in what exactly was in the Danny DeVito shrine.
It's a lot of.
Was
stuff.
there a
It's
rum-
Send you a
lot of
photo.
shit.
Was there a rum ham?
Was he there?
Was there was so much
No,
stuff.
I think the whole joke is that he's never gonna come. You know what I mean? I think
that
that's, like, the
shrine
whole
is there
thing.
every year, and it
He's-
gets
Oh, yeah?
huge. It's just a mess. There's so much stuff left. There's alcohol,
I wonder if he probably knows about it.
condoms. There's all sorts of stuff.
He should know about it.
He
Hey,
should
there's
know.
so many-
Danny, we're telling you about it.
There was a Betty White shrine too.
Subscribe to our channel, Danny.
Rip.
Danny DeViets.
The DeViets.
Yeah, it was really fun event, and I would recommend that anybody go to it. You know,
And again, where is that held?
It's in Maryland, D.C.
it's like right next to DC. And
It's at the
this
National
place-
Harbor.
Yeah, National Harbor. It's
Oh,
called
okay.
the Gaylord.